Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be talking about Phalaenopsis, and we're going to talk about temperature. I have got some work to do today because my Phalaenopsis got a little bit cold over the last week, and I had some severe bud blast like I've actually never seen before. Phalaenopsis are a warm growing orchid. They're one of the warmer growing orchids, so I grow intermediate in my greenhouse. It allows for the best range for the most amount of plants, which means my temperatures sometimes will get down to 55 degrees at night and then warm back up during the daytime. But I always leave some Phalaenopsis in here. There's a lot in the house right now, but I always leave a few in here because no harm really comes from them. Usually 1 or 2 buds per year will turn yellow and sort of blast off on a chilly night. And this last week we have had some colder than average temperatures here in British Columbia. So we finally got a little bit of the Arctic blast that everybody else was talking about. Nothing too extreme, but I know the other night Vancouver, British Columbia, city close to me, they had record-breaking lows for February the 7th or 8th, whatever day it was, that went back. They broke records from back in the 60s for how cold it got that night. And it wasn't quite that cold here. We got to about -6, and Vancouver was like -8. But it was still cold, and the greenhouse dipped a little bit cold, and I wanted to show you the only losses I had from that are these guys right here. This is a Phalaenopsis bloom, or was a spike. And look at how the cold got to it. It is just like rotten right off. So here's a typical bud blasted bud, and a few shriveled ones. But it's soft, and you can see my fingers getting wet. It's just oozing out its moisture there. And I'm going to show you this guy here too. This one I'm a little bit more upset about. This is a beautiful yellow one that I was looking forward to blooming, and yeah, it's shriveled up too. It got too cold. So Phalaenopsis generally don't like it much below 60. As it is, I push it and I drop my greenhouse down to 55. So they're already a little bit cold, and I call them the canary in the coal mine for me. If things are going to get cold and be too cold for most orchids, the Phalaenopsis bloom spikes will be the first thing to suffer. So there was my warning. So what I have done is I've sterilized a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to give this guy a cut. Now this one is not too badly damaged beyond here, so I'm going to try cutting it and see if it will branch off this node right here, and hopefully it will. It may not though, depending on how severe the cold damage is. And it didn't actually, it felt kind of mushy when I cut it. I think, honestly, I'm going to go one more down. That felt a little bit better. So, best I can hope for now is it's going to bloom off this node, and I'll still get some blooms. Now, I don't have my tripod out here. This is a mounted Phalaenopsis. They grow differently when mounted, but so I'm just going to sterilize my scissors again because I've already made one cut, and I know there's some bacteria in there because it's turning brown. So I'm going to sterilize them again, and I'll be right back. So you can see with these ones here, let me see if I can focus on it, that the tip is damaged, but the black is going down into the stem. So I'm going to try cutting it close to this node and see if it continues to blacken. Then I'll know. I may have to cut the whole thing off. I don't know. Same with this one. It's mushy and black all the way down. I'm going to try cutting it about there and seeing if I can get these guys to bloom off the spike still. But yeah, there's a lesson learned in keeping your orchids a little bit too cold. I brought out the thermometer there, so you can see my most recent daytime highs are about 80 degrees or 27, and you can see on the other side, so that's on the right side. On the left side, the thermometer goes in a downwards motion when it's warm, and it goes actually up when it's cold. So you can see where the blue little bar is there, and it looks like it got down to, my coldest night was about 12. So it's getting down there though. That works out to about almost 50 degrees in here, 52. So it got that few degrees too cold, and I think they blasted from that. So the heaters are down there. I use a plug-in fireplace because my other heater crapped out, and that's a backup heater just in case this one craps out. I always keep a couple heaters on backup on different circuits in case the power goes out or that sort of thing. But the plants in question were up here against this wall, and I think as the heat comes out, even on those cold nights, it gets blown across the floor, starts to rise up, and oh, look what we have here, more Phalaenopsis that were probably in the line of the heat, and they are nice and perfect. Look at that. These ones are coming out in bloom right here. Nice healthy buds, nice healthy blooms, and it's funny how it works just right across there, you know, where the heat doesn't come up. It must have been colder, and it's the only thing I can think of that would do this. So anyways, these ones, they need a bit of a watering right now. I keep everything a little bit drier here in the winter time. But yes, so there's a note. Make sure your Phalaenopsis don't go below 52 degrees, because if they do, they're going to bud blast. And really, ideally, you should be keeping them in the house. If I had more space in the house, I would be keeping more in the house. I think there's probably 6 or 10 that I could go through the house and count, and I just simply don't have enough room in the house for them. So with my next greenhouse, I'm actually going to have a warmer section, but it's actually going to be its own little chamber to keep Phalaenopsis and other such warm growing orchids and warm growing carnivorous plants in. So we'll have sort of a warm growing grow chamber in the greenhouse. But unfortunately, that's not going to be in this winter anyways. But anyways, hopefully you can learn from my lesson here. Make sure your phals don't get too cold, and that would be the same too. Make sure they're not next to a cold window, or if the stem here is going to touch a window, it could freeze it just the same. But anyways guys, as always, thanks for watching. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all the orchids I have in the house. I'll just do a couple of phals just to show you what I do have in the house for blooming phals, since we got a little bit of time left. I really like this guy here. That one's actually Tracy's orchid, but it's blooming nicely. There's a BOGO. Here's another Phalaenopsis in bloom, or in spike. Big meaty spike on it. Sherry babies right there. And now I will take you to the front living room. Alright, and I keep a few orchids on this shelf too that are in bloom. So, Zygopedilum, Cattleya, that awesome slipper orchid is in here. Miltonia, or Miltessa. Here's a Phalaenopsis. That one's about to go into bloom. It's got a nice spike on it. Here's another Phalaenopsis. I never do much on Phalaenopsis. If you guys want more Phalaenopsis videos, let me know. Just leave it in the comments below. There's another Phalaenopsis. I like this one. This one's like the Tracy's there that I first showed you, but instead of white, it's got yellow. There's another Sherry baby. Here's another Phalaenopsis. He's about to bloom. Here's another Phalaenopsis, sort of a yellowy, greeny color one. But yeah, so anyways guys, there are some Phalaenopsis in the house for you as well. So, until next time, thanks for watching. This is just a final shot of a nice sunny window, and we have a Lilea, the Chinese Cymbidium, a couple big Nepenthes. They wouldn't fit in the greenhouse. I know it's horribly backlit. They wouldn't fit in the greenhouse, so they're here. The